All right. If you're watching this, thanks. I'm looking for feedback. I intend to provide a little bit of entertainment here, but I'll just get straight to the point in terms of asks. There's actually 5. Okay, so 1, I'm looking for full-time work still. It's been a couple months, and I'm looking for full-time work in Vancouver or remote work in general. So if you know any great companies that are hiring, like great culture, good managers, I'm sure like a lot of us, yeah, feel free to message me and let me know. Second, I'm looking for feedback on my approach to strategy. So I'm going to draw that out here pretty soon, kind of show you how I think about things. So if you have any feedback there, let me know. Third, I'm looking for referrals. So if you know of people who are hiring, or you know of people who are kind of interested in what I'm about to show you here, kind of an experienced marketer type, possibly product manager roles, project manager roles, just message me or DM me, let me know. Fourth, I'm going to attach this to the video, but I'm looking for people to review my resume. Tell me what's missing in 2020, to the extent that there are marketing roles that people are hiring for, and project manager roles and product manager roles. What's missing from this resume that you would expect to see in 2020? Is it certain platforms? Is it certain jargon that's out of date? Just really looking for open-ended feedback there. And then, yeah, I'm just going to jump right into talking about strategy and how I think about it. And this is an approach I've used for many different clients at this point. I think probably 80 clients in my career so far. So I just wanted to kind of share this as a way to kind of open up conversation. So basically, any client that I've worked with, we really start with 2 main things. One is goals, and one is audience. Okay. Yes, I have a whiteboard in my bedroom. And with goals, I think there's business goals, and then there's marketing goals. And really at this point, any kind of goal that a client could come up with, or an organization could come up with, are really useful. Goals for the year could be something like, $20 million in revenue. Okay, great. $20 million in revenue. What if it was, increase traffic by 10% year over year? Great. Traffic goals. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we can achieve that. Is it going to happen through advertising? Is it going to happen through SEO? Is it going to happen through referral and PR? Let's have that discussion. Another goal could be something like increase average order value. Okay. So you're an e-commerce company and you want to increase your average order value by, say, $50 somehow. Okay, so we're going to go from, say, like 200 to 250 in your average order value. Great. Then there's a real question around, who's your audience, right? Let's just make up a brand. You're an e-commerce clothing brand for men, say. Now let's say women, okay? So you want to target women. Say it's kind of a business casual type brand, like an Aritzia or something. So you've got women, maybe it's 20 to 45. That's your audience. And not that I know Aritzia's marketing very well, but say that they're on Instagram, right? And they're on, say, Pinterest. And they really respond well to email. I don't know if you've seen Aritzia's email marketing, but it's really good. So, they check email often. Okay. And we'll say it's women that are sort of like professionally oriented. I'm sure you've seen Aritzia's clothing right now. So we'll say like women in business. Okay. So now you've got assets, right? And assets could mean anything, really. There's a whole tech stack associated with assets. It could be the website, could be maybe an email list, right? Of say 100,000 people. It could be your social media profiles, right? Say it was like Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest. And then you've got, say, an app. You also have an app experience. And you have a YouTube channel as well. Okay, so assets matter because you've got to think about like how are you going to reach your target audience in order to reach your goals, right? Presumably, you've got access to some analytics platform where you know quite well what percentage of sales comes from people just appearing on the website organically, what percentage of revenue comes from email, what percentage comes from different social media, paid ads, etc. And with that in mind, you have some real assets here that you can sort of leverage. Like, have you saturated your email marketing platform? Have you saturated your social channels with the content that you're putting out there? Maybe you've got a whole bunch of customer reviews as well. Okay, I'm putting that under assets because you might want to be looking at what are people saying about the product, and if they return the product or they like the product, and you're in different marketplaces, really listening to what they're saying to help kind of decide like how are we going to adapt the product, how are we going to give people what they want, how are they talking about the product. Okay, and then you've got resources. Okay. And resources in this case is really related to your team, okay? And you might have an idea from your metrics about where to sort of strategize what you're going to do next, where you're going to prioritize in terms of how to leverage your assets. But you might not necessarily have the full team. Like maybe you have like a web person and you've got an analytics person, and you've got like a salesperson in marketing. Maybe you're missing something to do with like a customer experience type, right? Maybe you've somehow realized you really need like someone who deals very well in customer experience, because you know that you do have like some reviews from the website, but you realize that there's really more to be done in terms of improving customer experience and making the most out of that kind of data. Okay, so if this is the case, then you can sort of get this larger picture about what's working. And in my case, like I would be asking the client or the organization to provide as much detail as possible. Obviously I'm running out of space right now. We'd have a larger canvas to work with normally, but we really sort of dig deep into questions related to each of these facets, right? How much can we discern about the key assets that we have? Why do we have these goals? Where did they come from? And the audience, are we sure about this audience? What is the research that went into really trying to understand this audience? And how did we validate that there's no other target audiences we should be marketing to or, trying to grow market share in? So really kind of asking, like those 5 whys about each of these types of goals, the audience, the assets that we have. Is anything missing? Are there any gaps overall? And then in terms of resources, I think there's a real actionable opportunity here to determine that maybe we don't have all the resources we need to get the learnings that we need to really scale or emphasize a certain approach to our marketing overall. Maybe we need something like, maybe we need to automate this whole thing. Or maybe we have like an analytics person who kind of set up the analytics, but we're not really doing like really sophisticated testing. So maybe we need someone that's more sophisticated when it comes to data. Or, we've got a good sort of system right now. We can tell that certain channels are working, but we don't really have like a centralized report. So we need a way to build a report that addresses this challenge of attribution a little bit better, and maybe it's updated a little more frequently to show us what's really working and what we can leverage for different parts of like the funnel or the flywheel or whatever, however you're choosing to speak about prioritizing different marketing tactics. So I'll sort of leave it there for now. I think what I can say is that this process upfront always seems to be really helpful, not just in doing strategy in general, but really understanding the stakeholders in the room and like how they're thinking about their problems. And what it opens up is a whole set of deep insights and a lot of curiosity, challenges to sort of ponder, like what's missing based on what we know and don't know. Yeah, so I think this is a useful start. I won't say more than that right now, but yeah, I think, again, key sort of ask that I have, if you've made it this far, thank you, is who do you know in the city or that is hiring someone who thinks like this or wants to work with someone additional on their team who thinks like this with them? And what do you think of this approach? Am I missing anything with the size of this whiteboard? And then, yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to attach my resume. I think it's a great complement to this approach in terms of how I've implemented a lot of those solutions in collaboration with different clients. Yeah, and then if you know anyone who might be interested in, viewing sort of a demonstration like this, or is even looking for someone to walk them through how to do this for their business, feel free to tag them in the comments, and yeah, we'll get in touch and we'll talk about how we can do something like that. All right, stay safe out there.